These are the plaintiffs, Erica Blake and Michael Robinson. Erica says they were ripped off by the defendant when they agreed to share an apartment with him. Turns out he took their rent money, didn't pay the landlord, and now the landlord's going to kick them out. This is all so stressful on them. She just had a baby, and they're here suing the unscrupulous and terrible defendant for the $3,500 they're owed. This is the defendant, Mohammed Kaba. He says the landlord found out the plaintiffs were pregnant and didn't want kids in the apartment, so he told him to have the plaintiffs move out. He said he was sorry, but the plaintiffs refused to leave and now are just squatting. Besides, he doesn't even know why he's being sued because the plaintiffs' money went to the landlord, and if they want it back, they should sue her. He's accused of stealing.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiffs say they agree to rent an apartment, but the defendant pocketed their rent money, didn't give it to the landlord, and now they're getting evicted. The defendant says BS. It's the case of your solo rent.
Thank you, Douglas. Erica Blake and Michael Robinson.
Yes.
You are suing Mohammed Kaba for $3,500 that you say he owes you in security deposit, rent, and emotional distress. Talk to me. What's going on?
Well, first, we were looking for a place, and I saw on Facebook a friend of a friend was moving, and I reached out to him and said, could me and my partner move in? And he said that Muhammad would get back to us. So Muhammad wrote us, and we met up with him, and it was perfect. So I was showing a little bit, but he may not have realized it at first. But
how pregnant were you?
I was only about 6 months. So I was about 5 to 6 months.
You weren't showing?
No.
Oh, jeez. 6 minutes after I found out, I started eating everything in sight. Go ahead.
So,
okay. Did you already have the baby?
Yes, I did.
What'd you have?
I had a boy.
Okay.
So,
and when did you have the baby?
2 weeks ago. So
get up from around that thing. Let me see. Get back. Okay. I can only imagine with these two beautiful parents how pretty that baby is. All right, so go on.
So we moved in, and we agreed that the room that he rented us would be at $1,100. So we agreed to pay $1,100 plus utilities, and so everything was fine. And actually, the next day,
when did he realize that you were having a baby?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Maybe
I think he knew when we moved in.
Okay.
Maybe when we moved in, he knew.
All right, but anyway, so go on.
So actually the next day after we moved in and we had given him the deposit and the $200, he said, the landlord, we have to meet her. And he said, don't worry about it. It's okay. But we found out later that she had actually told him to kick us out.
Wait, so did you meet the landlord?
We didn't meet the landlord.
Informally.
How did you informally meet the landlord?
She just came to the door and asked for him.
Right. And then was she surprised to see you guys?
No.
Yeah, because she knows that she's renting him a 3-bedroom and he's going to have roommates.
Correct.
Okay, so was there a problem with the landlady?
She didn't express any problems.
Okay, so everything seemed to be fine except for one thing. You find out he's not paying rent.
Yeah, but she had also told him that she didn't want kids there. And so he assured us, he said, don't talk to her. She was crazy, and that he would take care of everything, and that we would he said, you're not going to be kicked out. You're not going to be evicted. Everything's fine.
Did you have a lease with him?
We have like a verbal
month
lease
to month?
Yeah.
If it's verbal, then it's month to month.
Yeah.
All right, so what happens? You're there August, you're there September.
Probably the end of September, someone knocks on the door, and Michael runs down and opens the door, and it's somebody serving or giving us a notice. And so we talked to him, we're like, what's this? And he's just like, she's crazy, she pasted this together. So we're thinking she just went on the internet and printed out this copy of notice of eviction or court papers.
What difference does it make if she printed it out? She can do that. That's fine. So she prints out a template, and then the point is that she's suing him for eviction of him and everybody who lives there, which includes you. So
Right.
What does he tell you? Is he lying to you and telling you?
He said that she pasted it and it's not real, and that he paid her and that he didn't owe her any money.
Okay, so he's telling you I don't owe her any money.
Yeah,
okay,
he
so
said he didn't owe her any money. And so then he comes out and was like, well, something happened with my bank and I wasn't able to pay the rent. And I'm like, okay, well, we paid you in
So
separate.
you're collecting rent from them, but you're not giving it to the landlord?
Well, should I start from my point of view?
Yeah, well, but first answer the question I just asked you, which is the crux
no,
of the matter.
no,
Were you
that's-
paying rent?
Yes, I was.
Okay, so you're paid up. You were paid up until when? Because apparently there was an eviction filed.
Well, before they moved in, I had private people in the apartment, and we all paid deposit to the landlord. One of the gentlemen decided to move on the 5th of August. The landlord just assumed that I have to give her a new deposit since the other people left, and she divided our deposit and paid them their deposit back, and she asked me to pay additional deposit with them.
Well, but they paid deposit. You guys gave how much of a deposit?
$1,000.
Right, so then why didn't you just pay the deposit like the landlord wanted?
I did pay that. The landlord was just confused. The rent was paid. She was asking me to pay another deposit of $5,000, and she included the following month. They gave me the money.
But she had to give the guy who left his share of the deposit, so she wants
Indeed.
that back. And they paid it to you, so that shouldn't have been a problem. Why didn't that get taken care of?
I'm not sure what the problem is between me
Well,
and
the
them.
problem is that according to, you then speak to the landlord, right, eventually.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, I went down, I was just walking one day and I saw her because I wanted to know where we were going to go forward since he was moving out.
Oh, why was he moving out?
After the eviction notice, after he got the eviction notice.
Okay, so he gets an eviction notice, doesn't say, you're nuts, I'm staying here because I paid, he actually moves out.
Right.
Okay.
So he's like, I'm moving out. So I went to talk to her, hey, can we take over the apartment? And she lets me know that she had not received any money since August in that apartment. Zero.
Okay.
So that's when we
since August.
realized that
So
he
it's
pocketed
not,
everything.
oh, she's a crazy lady who's trying to get first, last, and security from an ongoing tenant. It's actually no rent was paid since August.
Correct.
Yeah.
So then she thinks that we're not
And
paying
what
as
say
well.
you to that?
That's September wasn't paid because I didn't have the September, August, I'm sorry. But I talked to the landlord. My name is on the list. I told her I'm going to pay you this month. I know the lady for a long time. She agrees.
Did you pay August, yes or no?
I have paid.
When did you pay August?
I paid 3 weeks ago.
When did you move out?
I moved out a month ago. I was told when Miss told me I don't want this. I don't want them to be there.
Why didn't she want them to be there?
Because she's pregnant. She doesn't want any baby or pets in,
No,
in
that
her
can't
building.
possibly be legal. Okay, go on.
I'm not a lawyer.
No, yeah.
I came forward to them and said, this is what's going on. And let's move out. They said, oh, we're pregnant. We can move now, and which I understand.
Are you still living there?
Yeah.
And what ended up happening? Or is she evicting you?
Yeah, the eviction just came like 5 days after I had the baby. I said, I can't move now. I just had a baby.
Would you move into a place where you give the money to the tenant pays the landlord?
That seems reasonable. You have to pay, to stay there.
Well, true, but the problem is, what if the tenant doesn't pay going inside the courtroom?
Are you paying her?
We haven't been paying her, but we've been
So
saving
nobody's
the
paying
money.
her.
No.
But she's a big bad landlord.
Well,
So she
we're
hasn't
not-
seen rent for half a year, but she's a big bad
We're not
landlord.
listening
She's
to
got a mortgage,
We're not
probably.
listening to my part here.
Did you pay September?
I have.
When did you pay all this
late.
stuff?
3 weeks ago. I was late
Okay,
behind.
so the landlord then the landlord was correct when the landlord filed the notice of eviction saying because you hadn't paid August, September, October.
The notice of eviction is totally wrong. You guys just received it like a week ago.
Okay.
I talked to Miss Cunningham yesterday. I talked to her the day before. I came to them when she told me, I'm like, I don't want them to be there because they're pregnant. I thought, it's time for us to look for something. And we kept on accumulating rent. I'm like, I can't do that. I already owe her money. I don't want to keep on accumulating. Let's go look for a place or we can move. What am I supposed to do? Just be there because you can move? I look for another place. I moved. I talked to her. My stuff is still there. She's like, please kick them out and then come and get your stuff. I have no problem with her. And they sued me for what? They gave me money. They said at the 2 months they lived there.
So how much did you end up paying her recently?
$5,200, like I owed her.
Okay. So all the
paid
way
me-
until, which covers rent all the way until when?
Up in November.
So did it cover November?
I moved November 1st.
And yet you're suing him? Because what I see is that you've been living rent-free there October and November.
No, we gave him rent money, and we've been keeping
Yes.
the rent money on the side.
Sweetheart, listen. You didn't pay October and you didn't pay November. He, however, if that's true, paid the landlord. So rent is all paid up. But you're in a month-to-month, so the landlord can tell you get lost in 30 days, pregnant or not, new mom or not. That's just the way it is. You don't, in the eyes of the law, you don't have a lease. But interestingly, you have not paid anybody rent for October and November, but you've come to court to collect $3,500 of rent from him, but you've been living there that whole time. So what are you out?
To pay her. We offered to pay her.
Yeah, but you don't have the obligation to pay her. The person with the lease with her has the obligation to pay her, and everybody's very clear that you paid him the amount that you say you paid him. He doesn't deny you paid August, September, right?
No.
But according to him, he paid her everything up to November, which would include 2 months that you didn't pay him. How do you figure he owes you money?
Because when we went to talk to her, she said that he hadn't paid
How
her
long ago
anything.
was that?
This was, when did you last?
I assume you're avoiding her since you haven't paid 2 months in rent.
No, we're not
seeking her
avoiding. We
out.
want to pay her.
She refused the rent. That's why.
I don't blame her. I do blame her because she shouldn't be discriminating
wants to kick
against
us
you
out.
because you have a
that's
baby.
illegal.
But I meant I don't blame her in terms of if her objective is for you not to be there, then she cannot accept the rent. But here's the thing though, you don't have a lease, you're a month to month, so she can tell you it's time for you to find a new place and it's time for you to find a new place.
We're just asking her for extra time, and we're willing to pay her for that time. We wanted to take over the lease.
Yeah,
when
the
he
problem
left.
is though, if she has an eviction pending, she loses it and has to pay a filing fee again if she accepts any rent from you. That's where the problem lies. That's why she's not accepting rent from you. In any event, you can't get it is the answer. You can't get the return, and here's why. You don't have a lease with her. Okay, you have a lease with him. You paid him. He's not denying you paid him. So
Then how is it she's evicting us for non-payment on the eviction?
Well, let's see. You didn't pay October or November, and
the eviction is against him, but it says under
and other people in
fictitious-
possession.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna have to figure it out.
The thing is, it's like we had an agreement. We planned on living there with him.
Oh, I don't
for
care
a
what your
year.
plans are. Let me
Like,
explain something. I mean to sound harsh. What I'm saying is the law doesn't care what your plans are. You can't, hey, I plan on living there 10 years. I plan on living there. Then you better get a 10-year lease. Or you better get a 3. You only have the right to assume you are living there as long as your lease is. When you have a verbal agreement, it is by operation of law a month to month. So your plans can extend for 30 days. As it is, you have been there now 3-4 months. So it's a lot longer than you had a right to expect. Do you follow what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So there's no, I planned this, I planned that, so you owe me $1,000 in emotional distress. No, you have no right to have assumed anything more than a 30-day tenancy there, because that's all you got. All right, based on what I'm listening to, I hope you understand I cannot rule in your favor. My ruling in this case is for the defendant. Listen, congratulations on your new baby, and may there be more secure times ahead for you guys. Okay? Good luck.
Thank you.
Hold on right there, guys.
Well, kind of a tough case for the plaintiffs in this case. They lose, but at the same time, you get some advice from the judge on your situation. So you know where you are now?
Yes.
You clear? Mm-hmm. You're going to have to get out, obviously.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to find some other place.
Right.
And he's not on the hook
Places
anymore.
that will accept a newborn.
Okay. Well, look, good luck to you.
Thank
okay?
you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Mr. Caba, if you'll step out here, obviously you're off the hook. I guess that's it. You okay?
I'm okay.
And you're living somewhere else?
I am.
And you're happy?
Hey, I feel bad for them, but
Yeah, I know. It's a tough situation.
It is indeed.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Harvey?
I gotta tell you, it's too dangerous to rely on somebody else paying the landlord. Make the deal so you pay the landlord directly, and if you can't do that, you gotta find another place.